Good morning and welcome to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson-Madison County Schools. I'm Greg Hammond, Chief of Public Information for JMCSS, and this morning we are spotlighting career and technical education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. To do that, we've invited retired Navy Commander Guy Delahoussaye. He's the Senior Naval Science Instructor at Southside High School, and ROTC is a class under the Career and Technical umbrella in our district, allowing students to find varied options for life after high school. Commander Delahoussaye, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll say out front, I have to figure out, do I call you Dr. Commander Delahoussaye or Commander Doctor? But we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
So first of all, this is your third year at Southside High School.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I guess we can still say welcome to West Tennessee.
Thank you.
So the question we've always asked our guests, particularly when they're educators, and I guess technically this is episode 101. Did you always know, Commander Delahoussaye, that you would work in education?
No, I didn't. I was just a run-of-the-mill high school student that needed something to do, and I was pretty smart. I used to tutor. I was a peer tutor. And but to be a teacher was never part of my career plan. But I found that over the years I was drawn to training, starting with just helping my fellow shipmates work in our different training programs, helping them helping me as we work together to become as successful as possible. And it just turned out that way.
Mm-hmm. Guy Delahoussaye is the Senior Naval Science Instructor at Southside High School and the ROTC program, and I know we'll need to tell people what that acronym means, ROTC. So before we continue, Junior or JROTC stands for?
Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps.
Okay, and that's essentially the introductory program for students in college or high school to learn military science.
It's a high school program. JROTC is a citizenship development program. We are not recruiters.
Okay.
When I talk to my students about military service, I talk about my experiences, but never from the perspective of, I need you to join. I need you to join. I just want them to think about options that they inspire to focus on when they leave high school. And the military service just happens to be one of them.
I know there'll be folks to hear there's a retired Navy commander on this podcast, on this episode, and they'll want to know, hey, did you serve on the Enterprise? Where did you?
I did.
Did you really? Okay, so
for a short term.
Tell folks a little bit, behind the curtain a little bit, where did you serve during your time in the military?
Okay. So I had no real idea what I wanted to do when I graduated high school, so I followed in my family's footsteps. There are many of us that enlisted in all different branches, and I left high school on one day, and I was at boot camp on the following day after graduation. And for my first 3 years, I was enlisted as a nuclear electrician's mate to work on submarines. And although I didn't want to go to college, I found that I was pretty good at the math and the sciences, and I earned a ROTC scholarship. So while in service, they separated me, sent me to college for 4 years, and then I became a naval flight officer. For those who don't know what that is, if you think back to Top Gun, that was Goose, the guy in the back seat. But I did that on a large communications plane. After that, I served in a couple different jobs, and then I switched to Navy Human Resources, where I finished off my career in Memphis.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty unique for an enlisted guy to get selected or pulled to go to college. That's not the typical path of an enlisted serviceman. Am I correct in saying that?
It's not. It's not you are correct. It's not the typical path, but the leadership does see potential in their workforce, and they call it in-service procurement, where they see promise and they give opportunities to their sailors to become officers and leaders in the Navy.
So I guess that context of working in the military kind of brought out the mathematic talent you always had?
I think it just took it to a different level, where we learn in the classroom the algebra and the pre-calculus. This was an opportunity to apply it in a place where you needed it to work, understanding how atoms separate to create nuclear power. That was very math intensive. Don't ask me to recall that stuff right now.
Guy Delahoussaye is a retired Navy commander, and he's an instructor of naval science at Southside High School. Of course, right now, open enrollment's going on. Open enrollment in the Jackson-Madison County school system allows students and families to consider schools and apply for schools that are outside of their zone. And so a career in technical education is a very successful path for many, many students. And when you consider Southside High School, they have ROTC, and Liberty has ROTC as well. But thinking at Southside, there's welding, there's horticulture, there's nursing, there's the AV production, a lot of opportunities, structural systems, of course, the construction students over the last couple of years built a tiny house out at Southside. So for a moment, before we go back to the beginning, because I do want you to share the story when your parents gave you those three options coming out of high school, thinking about Southside High School and what JROTC provides for that campus, what does an ROTC program do for a high school campus in terms of the culture?
It gives the students another opportunity to become part of a team. Not everyone is an athlete. Not everyone is a superstar in the classroom. And in my class, in Chief Henderson's class, in our program, we like to look at each student individually to see where their talents are and just connect them to other components on campus. I personally don't want a student to just be 100% JROTC. Okay. I want an athlete. We have football players. We have basketball players. We have band members in JROTC. We have some AV students in JROTC. I want our cadets to be well ingrained into that social component and academic component on campus. And I think that'll make a stronger JROTC program and a stronger Southside.
Guy Delahoussaye is a retired Navy commander in the United States Navy.
Yes, sir.
And today he's the senior Navy science instructor at Southside High School. I guess roughly 40 to 50 students out at Southside participate in your program?
This year we started off with 72 students, and this current semester we have 45-ish, and we'll get the rest in the second semester.
Before we go to our first time out, again, thinking about career and technical education and opportunities for students. You said yourself, coming out of high school, you didn't want to be a student. And your parents gave you, I don't know if we're going to call it advice or ultimatum. You explain it.
They gave me three choices, and those were absolutes.
Tell us what those three choices were.
Choice one was I could go to the local community college, and they would help fund it, and I could stay at home. Choice two was I can go get a job, and I could still stay at home, but I would have to pay rent. And choice three was to go join the military. And we can see that I chose choice three, and it was probably the best choice I've made.
Deal. We're visiting with retired Navy Commander Dr. Guy Delahoussaye, senior naval science instructor at Southside High School. And again, he's helping us spotlight career and technical education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. It's time for us to take our first time out. When we return, we'll have much more of this conversation on the other side of the break. You're listening to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson Madison County Schools on JJ 97.7 FM. I'm here with
Renee Vogel. I'm a senior here at Liberty.
So what's it like being a student in Crusader Cuts and the barn?
It's really interesting. You really get the chance to learn a lot between small animal care, where you're in the lab more, you're learning about Crusader Cuts and overall how to care for these animals, and then coming out here to the barn, learning about the goats, larger animals, livestock, things like that, all the way up to vet science, where you really learn a lot of interesting stuff. What to do when they get sick. We've drawn blood, we've taken temperature, we've done just about everything to keep these animals in tip-top shape, and I really enjoy it.
What are your goals after high school?
So after high school, I'm going to the University of Tennessee at Martin. I'm going there for veterinary sciences to hopefully get my degree in that, and then go on to main campus in Knoxville to get my DVM, which is a doctorate of veterinary medicine, and eventually be a vet somewhere here in Tennessee.
And finally, what do you want folks in the big city of Jackson to know about this small town feel of the Liberty Barn?
Everybody can really benefit a lot, whether you're hands-on with the animals or just watching and learning about their development. An excellent life lesson that I think everyone should learn.
Welcome back to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson Madison County Schools. I'm Greg Hammond, Chief of Public Information for JMCSS. This morning, we're spotlighting career and technical education in the Jackson Madison County school system. To do that, we've invited retired Navy Commander Dr. Guy Delahoussaye, Senior Navy Instructor at Southside High School. And I had to pause because I wanted to make sure I got the doctor in there. So congratulations on your recent graduation. And it's to hear your story, it's so unique and inspiring at the same time. You're a kid growing up in Louisiana who doesn't at the time have the desire to go to college, and the military was really not only a platform for you to see the world, but also for you to grow your education and really foster something you were already very talented in, which was mathematics. I think that's very cool.
Thank you.
You shared a quote with us during the commercial break, and it was from a Navy commander or admiral.
So Admiral Rickover, the father of nuclear power. I started off in nuclear power as an electrician's mate, and it was challenging. We had to do a lot of memorization, but almost 40 years later, it feels like I read a quote from him, and he said, "If you can't write it, then you don't know it." Now, that's not a direct quote, but that's the essence of the quote, and everything started to make sense with the strategy for teaching us back then in that training program. So I think it's pretty interesting. And I think it fits with the challenges that I see in some of the learning that we have right now with our students, and not having strong math facts, and trying to work through that with them so that they can go ahead and apply that tool that's going to be needed for the rest of their lives.
And I want to put this disclaimer out there. If someone may be listening to this conversation and they think ROTC, Reserve Officer Training, would be something good for their son or daughter, they don't have to join the military when you sign up for ROTC. Can you explain that for everybody?
Yes, sir. High school JROTC is a citizenship development program. We're trying to make good people, conscientious people, accountable people for their actions, and that's it. We are not recruiters. We bring recruiters in to talk to the students, but we're not recruiters. My goal is to help students achieve their best selves as they go on and become their fulfill their dreams when they go into adulthood.
We're talking about career and technical education. We're using ROTC, Naval Science, as the pathway on this episode. I think it's so cool because whether it's the students at Liberty Technology High School ROTC or Southside High School ROTC, we see you all in the community. You're representing us. You make the presentation of colors. We see you in parades. We see you volunteering. And from the school district side, we want to say thank you. A special wrinkle we've seen recently out of the Southside ROTC, fun fact, the majority of your robotics team at Southside High School are Navy ROTC students. Tell me about that.
So our robotics program is a collaborative program. It's not just an ROTC program, though in our area, we're broken down into areas of the country. Robotics is just starting to grow, but Southside is kind of a leader in our particular region of 30 schools or so. But it's a collaborative effort with the overall student population to just give them a new opportunity to showcase their talents, to learn a new skill set. And recently, one of our 2 robotics teams was invited to a national competition. They're going to Ohio in January to compete. And it's a mixed team of cadets and Southside students.
We're visiting with Guy Delahoussaye, Senior Navy Science Instructor at Southside High School. So as you think about open enrollment and different opportunities for your son or daughter at the middle school level, at the high school level, Southside High School being one of those comprehensive high schools in the Jackson-Madison County school system. So we talk about Naval Science, or ROTC, welding, auto technology, auto body, agriculture. There's the nice greenhouse there at Southside High School. There's AV production at Southside High School. There's nursing at Southside High School. And so many of these programs are also at some of our other high schools, but ROTC is a program that you'll only find in the Jackson-Madison County school system at Liberty High School and Southside High School. Talk about how your students participate in athletics, whether it's the fitness tests you all do in the classroom, but also during this past football season, we saw you all on the sidelines, and it was part of the experience or of the culture there at Southside with athletics. Tell us about that.
Well, I can't say that I'm the author of this program, but it was just a push-up squad. I was watching college football last year, and Texas A&M has all of their cadets out there doing push-ups whenever the team scores. And I thought it would be a great opportunity just to find another connective point between ROTC and our football team and the student body. We present colors at the football games, but that was it. What more could we do? We could be part of student excitement at the games. Mm-hmm. So whenever the Hawks scored, our cadets would get out there in the end zone and go do some push-ups just to celebrate that score.
What other experiences at Southside High School do your Navy science students take part of? When you think about an entire school year, that very much is the football season. Then you have robotics. That's a special wrinkle or collaboration at Southside High School. To give parents further context, what does it look like for their son or daughter to participate in ROTC?
Just thinking about my cadets, I have cadets in a Jackson leadership program that he's going off to a lunch and learning event tomorrow. I have one cadet that is her class vice president. I have varsity athletes. I have a basketball player that's going to be in our class next semester. I have softball players. I have we didn't have a volleyball player this year, but we have several football players. I have one baseball player. So they're getting ingrained into athletics. Mm-hmm. I have one student who's been in several of the school's theater productions, and he just loves it. So I have cadets doing all kinds of things on campus. I encourage it. I'll adjust my schedule so that they can participate in those other things, because I think that full experience is equally important as participating in our program.
Dr. Guy Delahoussaye is retired Navy commander and now senior Naval Science Instructor at Southside High School. And for folks like me who either grew up in South Jackson or went to Southside High School, Chief Reagans and Commander Conner were out there for so long. And to see those guys retire, you know, a lot of the former students or alumni think, wow, I mean, what's going to happen to the program? So it's been really cool to see yourself and Ivan Henderson, your coworker there at Southside, really take over the ROTC program and done the work. You're doing the work to make sure the program remains strong. What advice would you have for parents whose students are currently in middle school and now they're preparing over the next several weeks to pick a high school, to pick a area of study, whether that's nursing, whether that's mechatronics at the Workforce Development Center? What advice do you have for parents who have students who are preparing for high school?
Well, I'm a big fan of Southside High School. I see a very caring environment, if it's in the classroom with those tested courses, or our intervention teachers who are there just to fill in the blanks. Our administration they know just about every kid by name. I don't know how they do it. I need to learn that skill set. But I'm a big fan, and we're just there to support as well. So,
but then thinking about your own experience as a high school student and how, you know, your parents were very much involved and they made changes until they found the right high school that was right for you. You know, that was in Louisiana several years ago.
Yeah.
Looking back on that family in the context you have now, what advice do you have for families now? Because again, you said yourself, coming out of high school, you didn't see yourself as a college student. You didn't see yourself really knowing where you wanted to go. So there are families now who are in that same position. So now with the context you have, having traveled the world and gone to school and taught a varied range of people, what advice do you have? Not necessarily Southside specific, but just getting ready for the high school experience and whatever opportunities may be out there.
To stick with our theme for career technical education, I wish I had taken those classes when I was in high school. My last high school had construction and automotive, but I was on the college prep track, and I don't regret that one bit. Mm-hmm. I just wish I had the opportunity to do the other tracks as well. We have 2 programs at Southside that are, I think we're the only one in the state that has both an auto body and automotive repair
ASC certified
at
mm-hmm.
the same school.
Right.
That's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Our welder instructor is so caring about these students and their success that, you know, when we talk about this, we both get passionate about our students. Mm-hmm. And you get that out of most of the teachers.
Yeah.
But you know, the CTE program, they want our students to go and succeed mm-hmm. because we've lived our lives. It's That's now right. their turn. We just want to share our perspective with them, and hopefully some of that sticks.
Retired Navy Commander Guy Delahoussaye, now the senior Naval Science Instructor at Southside High School. And what I'm hearing you say is the value of career and technical education. And I think it's good for parents, number one, to know these options exist, to do the work to visit jmcss.org. And you mentioned these programs at Southside. From the district standpoint, I think what's cool for me to know is whether a kid lives in North Jackson or South Jackson, many of these opportunities exist at various schools. I mean, you know, you mentioned auto technology, you mentioned welding, you mentioned construction, and how these experiences at the high school level can really help a student follow the right path. And I even think It's very interesting, and I think great information. What your parents gave you, those three choices. I think that's very cool. We have one more segment left in episode 101 of the JMCSS podcast for the district. We're visiting with retired Navy Commander Guy Delahoussaye, Senior Navy Science Instructor at Southside High School. We've got more conversation on career and technical education after this time out. You're listening to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson-Madison County Schools.
Did you know Habitat for Humanity offers free pickup for your scheduled donations? From furniture and appliances to windows, lighting, and doors, the Habitat Restore is a meaningful and convenient place to donate gently used home goods. For more information or to schedule a pickup, visit the Restore at 1668 North Parkway or go to jacksonhabitat.com. Join the Jackson Area Habitat for Humanity as we build strength, stability, self-reliance, and shelter for individuals and families right here in West Tennessee.
Welcome back to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson-Madison County Schools. This morning, we're talking about career and technical education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. And to do that, we've invited the senior Naval Science Instructor from Southside High School. Dr. Guy Delahoussaye is a retired Navy commander, and now he's imparting his knowledge and his wisdom to students in the Jackson-Madison County school system, specifically Southside High School. Commander, just for a moment, if we were to visit your classroom, what's some terminology or some things we would hear you say? Being that you have a deep education and you have that real world military experience, what are some items or themes that you harp on in your class?
So presently I have two specific groups of students that I'm teaching this semester, and that's my leadership class, where we're taking leadership concepts from people like Admiral McCraven or Colin Powell. Mm-hmm. And then we're doing comparisons of their leadership tenets to new movies, just to compare and see where they see it in action. Mm-hmm. So we do talk about that. But my most loved class, and I say that with humor, because my students they wouldn't agree, is my personal finance class. Okay. Because I tell them that I need y'all to pay attention and learn this like your life depends on it, because it does. Where everyone's going to pay taxes, so let's learn about the tax system. Let's learn how it applies to you and your personal usage of it. And so that's what you'll hear in these present days. Right now, they're prepping for the challenge exam for the college credit.
When we see your students out in the community, it's usually during the presentation of colors. And some students have the rifles. Yes. The flags. Talk about the training involved in that, and what does a student have to do to be one of those students? And usually when you guys visit the board meetings, typically you have your highest ranking student officer with you. I know that's the case with Liberty ROTC. So talk about that, because I guess from the public perception, those are many of your best students.
Yes, my goal is to teach every student how to be a member of the color guard. The colors are their flags and the guards are their rifles. But my goal is to teach them to their level of comfort to participate, so that we can have a strong group, because we are pretty busy. Our students work outside of school, so balancing school, JROTC requirements, and their life outside of school, having a deep bench really helps out. And I think it's good to train the people who are going to follow, rather than try to do all the events. Be the leader and train that group behind you, so that there's more opportunity for other things and growth. Yeah.
There's a leadership development component that I continue to hear during this conversation. And when you say ROTC is about leadership development, I think the cool thing is those leadership traits now a student can take and use in any facet of their life, whether it's classroom or sport.
That's the hope, yes. Yeah.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of For the District, episode 101, and we want to thank retired Navy Commander Dr. Guy Delahoussaye, Senior Navy Science Instructor at Southside High School. And before we get out of here, number one, again, congratulations on your most recent accomplishment.
Thank you.
You're a Tulane grad.
Yes.
They're in the football playoffs, so good luck.
Yes, thank you.
You're a Florida State grad.
Yes.
They didn't do so hot in football this season, so you guys, I guess, need to work on that. And then most recently, University of Memphis.
Yes.
So congratulations. And before we get out of here, we know a student does not have to go to high school, doesn't have to go to college in order to be successful. But higher education has obviously been important for you. So last question getting out of here. How do you advise your juniors and seniors when they consider life after high school? How do you advise them on that?
We start with them at freshman year just to understand their goals and their dreams.
Okay.
And I tell them, well, I ask the question, what do you want to do when you graduate? And you can change it at any time. Oh. There's no reason to pick a path right now when you're freshman or sophomore and have to stick to it unless you feel like you're going to go that path. I've changed my mind many times. But what I counsel them on is to always think and learn and look beyond the what's right in front of them. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Not everyone is going to go to college right out of high school. Not everyone can afford it. I couldn't afford it right out of high school, and I didn't want my parents to afford it. So I took it upon myself to make my path, and everyone has their own path to success. One of my advising philosophies is to build that confidence in the student. I call it self-efficacy. Well, many researchers do. Okay. But call it self-efficacy, that belief in their self that they can go achieve what they want to achieve. And then self-advocacy, if you need something, go ask for the help you need so that we can help you get there. And then dig deep, have that resilience to finish a task and go accomplish your dreams. Did I know all of that when I was in high school? Absolutely not. But I share with them often, I wish someone was there to help guide this path to make it a little easier so that, well, I wouldn't take away any step that I've taken on my journey. But if I can help one of these students make it a little easier for them in their decision making and their access to scholarships and their access to jobs, I'll feel like I'm fulfilling my promise and paying it forward.
Awesome. Retired Navy Commander Dr. Guy Delahoussaye, Senior Navy Science Instructor at Southside High School. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You've been listening to For the District. It's the podcast for Jackson-Madison County Schools. Remember, if you didn't catch the first half of this episode, visit our YouTube channel. You can also visit us on Spotify. Just search JMCSS. And also, radio731.com. We hope you have a great Sunday, an excellent week, and we'll see you next time.